A tutorial on factorising quadratics. Before we get into this, it's important to be able to recognise when you have a quadratic equation. The two forms quadratic equations will take will be either ax squared plus bx plus c or ax squared minus c, where a, b and c are integer values, whole number values. So an example of a quadratic in ax squared plus bx plus c format might be 2x squared plus 10x plus 30, for example. Or an example of ax squared minus c might be 4x squared minus 36. And the method of factorising differs slightly if the value for a is equal to 1 or if the value of a is greater than 1, where a is the integer value in front of the x squared. So let's look at an example where a is equal to 1. X squared plus 3x minus 10. Now when we're factorising a quadratic, let's just refer to a quadratic graph. A quadratic curve that contains our x squared, etc., will be this U-shaped curve. Typically, if you can solve for your values of x, it should cross the x-axis at 2 places. So let's have a look at our x squared plus 3x minus 10. When factorising quadratics, these are going into your double brackets. Now, if you ever forget how to factorise into your double brackets, just quickly make up your own double bracket, expand, x squared plus 2x plus 4x plus 8, simplify, x squared plus 6x plus 8. Then consider what numbers you started with in your bracket and what values you've ended up with in your expanded expression. Plus 6x and plus 8. When you do 2 plus 4 you get 6, and when you do 2 times 4 you get 8. So we can call this the product sum method, where we're looking for the two factors of minus 10, so two values that multiply to minus 10 that add to positive 3. So we could have 5 multiplied by 2 to get us 10, but we need minus 10. So that means one of our values will be negative and the other will be positive, because a plus times a minus is a minus. We then need to consider the sign of our value of b is a positive 3. So that means we've had plus 5 take away 2 to give to us positive 3. And that's our quadratic factorised. Now let's consider an equation where the value of a is greater than 1. 3x squared plus 11x minus 20. There are a couple of methods out there. There's the grid, there's trial and error, or I like to use the AC method, where you start by multiplying your values of a by c. You can keep the x squared if you like, so that's 3x squared multiplied by minus 20 gives us minus 60x squared. Next, we're looking for two values that multiply to get minus 60, but when you add them together, we get our b coefficient of plus 11x. So then we think about our factors of 60, so 2 and 30, 3 and 20, neither of those add to 11, 15 and 4. So 15 multiplied by 4 is 60, and 15 subtract 4 is positive 11. So that's 15x and minus 4x. So now the point of that was so that you can get rid of your plus 11x and replace with your 15x and your minus 4x. So we rewrite the equation as 3x squared plus 15x minus 4x minus 20. So essentially what we're doing is we're working backwards. We split our equation down the middle and factorise each half. So common factor of 3x squared and 15x, that's 3x, and x plus 5 goes in the bracket. And common factor of minus 4x and minus 20 is minus 4. In the bracket goes x plus 5. What you should notice at this stage is what's in the bracket should be identical. Now how we use this to put into our double brackets. In one bracket will go your 3x minus 4, and in the other bracket will go x plus 5. Now this AC method can be used for when the value of a equals 1 and when a is greater than 1. Looking at our final type of quadratic, now this is what we call difference of two squares, where square refers to square number. So if we look at our 4x squared minus 36, what you'll notice is 4 is a square number, x squared is the squared value, and 36 is a square number. And when it takes this format where everything is square, we use double brackets because it's a type of quadratic. Difference of, which means one bracket is positive and one bracket is negative because we need to multiply to get minus 36. But both of our brackets need to be identical. So essentially what we're doing is we're square rooting. And good thing about factorising is you can always check your answers by doing a quick expansion. So 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times minus 6 is minus 12x. 6 times 2x is plus 12x. 6 times minus 6 is minus 36. The plus 12x and the minus 12x cancel out to be 0. So we're left with 4x squared minus 36. So we know we've got the correct answer.